Hey, what's going on, everybody? Eric here with driverlineup.com, world's okayest steering wheel holder. That is what I self-proclaim, of course. A little bit noisy with the road, the highway, interstate right behind me, and there's a breeze coming through as well, so bear with me. But this is a really important video that I want to make exclusively for those of you who are thinking about or researching, got some curiosities going on. You're seeing all these prime YouTube videos out there and you're wondering, is this right for me? I've been wanting to make this video where I can just have a very forthcoming conversation with you about this. I want to try to get through it as quick as possible. If you're a subscriber and you've been driving for a long time, you already drive for Prime, you've been driving for some other company, you might be able to get some things out of this. Maybe you won't, I don't know. So you can watch along with me. Also, if this video or any other video on the channel is helpful for you and you're coming to Prime and you want to use a referral code, feel free to use mine. It is ODOMEJ. It's in the description down below. Also, I highly recommend, whether you use that driver code or not, I highly recommend you talk to Barbara Brown. She is a Prime Inc. recruiter, an amazing recruiter. Jenna and I know her well. She was Jenna's recruiter, and she was recommended to us by our old fleet manager, Chris Martin, and she's been amazing. Every driver that we've talked to who's worked with her has had nothing but good things to say about her. Now, I will warn you, sometimes she doesn't get right back to you the same day if you leave her a voicemail or send her an email, and that's because she's just got a lot of new drivers that she's working with, but she will get back to you. And if you want to tell her that I sent you, Eric or Jenna with Driver Lineup, she'll take very good care of you. I can't tell you how many good reviews we've gotten. So feel free to do that if you decide to, but I want to give you some very important information that I hope will help you in your decision-making process. And I want to make sure that you set your expectations properly. And that's a really important thing because there's so many YouTube videos out here. If you watch my channel, you know Jenna and I are buying our third truck. We just ordered it, and hopefully we're going to buy our fourth truck next year. But you can't, if you're coming here to be a solo driver, you can't base your future off of what we're doing because it's very unique and exclusive to us. Everybody has a very unique scenario. It may be where they live. It may be the type of, there's so many scenarios, and you can't base your journey off of what you see on this channel or on someone else's channel, but you can start to set some expectations, and that's what I want to try and accomplish with this video. First, before I get into what you should expect for some expectations and what kind of goals you should set for yourself, is the reason that I chose Prime, and this is a very important one, I think, is, well, there were a number of reasons. Number one, a pet-friendly policy, because Jenna was well, number two would be a rider-friendly policy, because before Jenna decided to drive, she was going to ride on the truck with me, and we have a little German Shepherd that is basically our daughter. We've had her since she was the size of a potato, a sweet potato. So she's our kid, so it was not an option to go on the road without her. So in our decision-making process, we needed a company that would allow us to have pets and would allow me to have a passenger with me on the truck. Those two were big hits, big pluses for Prime. No ifs, ands, or buts, no questions. That was huge. Number two, the third would be security in freight contracts and security during economic downturns. And that has turned out to be true. Back there, you can probably hear that reefer chugging along. It's got hot chocolate in there. So it's actually warming the trailer right now because it's pretty chilly, and it's got to keep the trailer warm. It can't get too hot, can't get too cold. Anyway, if everybody only had $20 left in their pocket, what do you think they're going to buy? Do you think they're going to go buy a TV, or are they going to buy food that's either refrigerated or heated in one of these trailers? It's going to be food. Everybody always needs food. If there's only one thing you can buy, it's going to be food. And that was so true during the beginning of COVID last year. You see all these owner operators, all the spot market, it just went, and because there was so many trucks out there trying to get work, and there was a lot of product not being shipped. But for us, we were making great money. And I don't want to say that we were benefiting from a crisis, but that's what was happening. We were making great money. We did not slow down. We ran through the whole thing, and freight was always there. Now rates, that's a whole other conversation, but we had job security. So that is a big deal. Also, Prime has been hauling certain kinds of freight, meat for since Rob Lowe started this company. So there's long-standing contracts that are a huge advantage and benefit to us as drivers. And those contracts, while the rates may fluctuate, they're never going to go away. There's always going to be that freight. In fact, Smithfield, who's one of our biggest customers, I think just committed to an extra 200 loads per week, which might make it up to 1,000 loads per week. Don't quote me on that, but it's a lot. It's a lot of freight every week that they've committed to on a long-term basis. For tanker drivers, we have a new tanker facility up in Illinois that's about to open, because there's a lot of new tanker business, both in food and non-food, non-edible, non-food grade. So my point is, there's a whole lot of opportunity and a lot of job security in the type of freight and the type of contracts that Prime has. And that was really important to me, because I'm positive, and I'm ambitious, and I want to believe, and I want to operate as if the economy is always going to chug along and be amazing. But I also know that sometimes there's hiccups and there's blips and there's challenges, and I want a scenario that's going to protect me, or at least insulate me as well as possible from those economic downturns, and help me kind of ride those waves. And that was a big one with Prime, and it has hit all the marks on that one as well. And then the final part of choosing Prime was, what kind of opportunities would there be for me as a driver? Now, was it just one tunnel that I had to go through? Was it just one box that I had to be in? Because I wasn't really sure. I'd never driven a truck before. I'd never worked for a trucking company. This is completely new to me. But I wanted to have different avenues that I could go, and different things that I could do. And Prime, having the opportunity to be a company driver and make great money with amazing benefits, or be a lease driver, great money. There's also now the benefits for independent contractors are pretty good. If you want to purchase a truck, there's that opportunity. If you already have a truck, you can come and do power only. That to me was a big draw. Now, I initially was going to be a company driver for a year and then make a decision on whether or not I wanted to do something local or change things up with Prime. Through my training, my TNT training, I decided at the very last minute, it was like literally the last week in training, that I was going to go lease. And I went straight to lease on upgrade, and I never looked back. And that was it's been confirmation ever since that those opportunities, that diverse range of opportunities, was a big gamble coming to Prime, but it paid off very, very well. And of course, now Jen and I have our third truck coming. Our private fleet is being built. We currently have 2 trucks running freight. It's really, really good. And things are just looking better and better, and it's because of those opportunities. Now, here's what I want to say on the set your expectations right. And this is really important. You can make very good money out here, and you can make very good money with Prime. There are also things that are outside of your control, and those things can make this take a nosedive for you. So it is a risk. It is a gamble. And I've seen probably 8 out of 10 drivers that I know that come into the program will say that it's been amazing, and they've made the same or better money than they've ever made in their lives. But then there's those 2 that, through tractors breaking down and trailers breaking down for their whole first months out here on the road, that it was rather devastating to them. And that is a potential for you. Then there are those whose fleet manager didn't work out, or just constantly being pounded with bad loads or being put into bad freight lanes or things like that. That is a risk. You cannot come out here and expect that not to be a risk. You may get stuck with a trainer that is not ideal, like I did. You may have a trainer who doesn't shower every week. You may have a trainer who doesn't keep a clean truck, who doesn't teach you, who's only in it for the money. All of those things are possibilities that may come about. And also, there's going to be substantial sacrifices in your life. This is a life-changing switch for you. You're going to be sleeping in a vehicle right there, that size, in back alleys. You're not going to have restroom facilities. Customers are going to treat you like shit. You're going to be a subpar, subhuman in a lower class to a lot of people. You're going to be away from family. You're going to be a slave to that truck for long periods of time. That is a sacrifice you're going to make. You're going to be ripped off. You're going to have to sit at shippers and receivers for very long periods of time, and you're not going to be properly compensated. You're going to do everything that you say you're going to do. You're going to pick up the load on time. You're going to deliver it safely, and you're going to get to the destination on time, but you're not going to be treated with respect where you pick it up and where you drop it off, and probably a lot of times along the way too. That's the sacrifice that you are making. That's the trade-off that you're making. That's the change in your life. You're not going to work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. You're going to work 6 to 2 on Monday and probably 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. the next night, or the next night. There's not going to be any consistency to it. Your life is going to be turned upside down. That is fact. Those are the sacrifices you are going to have to make. And it's very important that you understand and you flip that switch in your head that that's what you're walking into, that that's what you're signing up for, okay? Because while there's a lot to enjoy about trucking, in fact, right now at this rest area, I just took Remy over here and we played in the grass. Jen and I walked around. There's a little trail over here. We kind of walked around and held hands. It's beautiful here right now. There are a lot of things about trucking that you're going to enjoy. There's a lot of things about trucking that I'm going to enjoy. And there are a lot of drivers that'll tell you that this is a great life out here because they really like it. Good for them. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't really like this. I don't want to be in this for the next 10 years. This is a necessity for me. This is a sacrifice for me. And that's what makes it worth it. And I get the best out of it that I can, and I enjoy it as much as possible. But please, don't come out here thinking that you're going to be in an RV that just so happens to make you money. That is not the situation. You have very little control of your life out here. You got to get where you got to get, and then you got to get on to the next place you got to get, and you got to get there in a timely manner, and you got to get there safely, and there's going to be all kinds of stresses and dangers and things that just frustrate you and piss you off, and you're going to be disrespected. The list goes on and on. I'm just being honest with you, okay? But that's the truth, and I want to make sure that you understand that. In addition to that, there's also the truth about Prime. I stand by the fact that Prime is a great company to get your CDL and to find the right opportunity for you, and I always will stand by that. It has a great culture, but I will say this, that culture will go through changes. That culture will go through shifts in terms of Prime as a company. The family vibe and the amazing culture is us out here, us drivers. We make that culture. We make that family. All the other YouTubers you see, all of us that are friends, and we meet and we have meetups and we run into each other out here on the road. We give each other hugs. We encourage each other. We network with each other. We are the culture, okay? Not Prime as a company, not Prime as a logo, not that Prime purple, not that trailer. It's people, it's drivers. We are the culture. We are that family vibe, and you can come in and embrace that, and I love it. And Prime is a great place for you to create opportunity in unison with the things that it has going for it. But very, very important. Like I just said, you're going to make some sacrifices. And the final piece is you had better have goals. You need to have, and those can be fluid. They can change up for you. I never thought when I came to Prime that in 3 years I would be having 3 trucks. Never thought buying 3 trucks and running my own fleet. I had a goal and it was tremendously changed, right? But I had a goal. And my goal was not to drive a truck for 10 or 15 or 20 years. My goal was to get into this, see if the money was there, see if the opportunity was truly there, and then just find ways to get as much out of it as I could and get out. That was my goal, and that part has not changed. And finding financial security too, I was tremendously in debt and in a really bad spot in my life. And that has happened. We've tackled a ton of debt. We've gotten, my credit is in amazing condition, the best condition. My credit's in the best condition it's ever been in my life. I mean, my credit is in, if I want to apply for something right now, boom, I get green lighted, here you go. Like I've never had that in my life, you know. But have goals and set milestones for those goals. And it doesn't matter. Rolling for Time told me the other day I kind of messed up and made it look like buying a boat is not a good goal. I didn't mean for it to sound that way. If buying a boat is one of your goals, great. If buying a house is one of your goals, great. If having a baby is one of your goals, amazing. If buying a truck is one of your goals, whatever those goals are, get in here, learn what those are, set yourself milestones, and make the sacrifice to get to those goals. The sacrifice, because this is not a good life out here, you guys. It is a investment of your time and your individuality and you as a person. It's an investment of your life to get out here and make this happen. So have things you work for, and I would say if you're coming to Prime, give it 3 years. Use the first year to learn as much as you can about the business. Don't turn down any loads in your first year unless it's just a really unique situation that you got to turn down that load if you're going lease. And then at the end of 3 years, buy a truck as quickly as possible too. But at the end of the 3 years, if you want to go somewhere else with a truck that you've paid for, or if you want to go drive for Landstar or get a truck elsewhere, man, at the end of that 3 years, you're going to be in better financial position. You're going to understand trucking in the industry, and you're going to be ready to go somewhere where you can be informed and educated and ready to do that. Okay? Or stay at Prime. I mean, it's a unique situation for me because I've got an avenue where I'm going to be able to stay at Prime and be home more. So I'm staying with Prime because it works for me and it works for my plan. If I didn't have that plan, I would probably move on and go somewhere else with a truck that I own. But the thing is, you have those opportunities. Create those opportunities for yourself. Set yourself up to get to a place where you can say, man, I've got a lot of doors open for me now. I'm out of debt. I've got money in the bank. I've got a truck. I've got knowledge. I have an understanding of this industry. I have goals. Here's all these doors that are open for me now. You see what I'm saying? So set the expectation right that you're going to come in here and you're going to make sacrifices, and there's going to be ups and there's going to be terrible downs. You're going to have weeks where you're like, holy shit, I cannot believe I made that much money. And then you're going to have a week where you're like, holy shit, this is a ripoff. That is fact, okay? But if you can set your mind right on this stuff, and you can have goals and ambitions and know that you're making an investment and you're going to have to sacrifice a couple years of your life, amazing things can happen. And those can happen by you staying at Prime or you going somewhere else. But don't come in here thinking you're going to be a Prime driver for 10 years and you're going to sail through it and it's going to be amazing. You're going to get out here and go wherever you want in the truck and enjoy all these museums and all this good stuff. Man, some of that is true. But this is work out here and this is sacrifice, and it's hard mentally, it's hard on you physically, but it's very rewarding financially. So just come in with the right frame of mind and come in with a set of goals and come in for understanding that the period of the time that you're in training and after you upgrade and have your own truck, for that period of time, you are working to create future opportunities for yourself, and you're working to see other doors open for you. And if you can come in with that frame of mind, I think this is an amazing place to come drive. I think it's an amazing place to get your CDL and to change your life radically for the better in a lot of ways. But just make sure that you have the right frame of mind and go from there. So I'm going to make this video the video on my homepage on our channel because it's just really, I think it's just really important. You know, I don't want anyone to come to Prime, see it in my videos or any other videos, and come to Prime and either be let down or feel that you were misled or find that this is a little bit different than you thought it would be. I want you to know exactly what you're walking into and know that there are opportunities that are going to be created if you have the right frame of mind and the right trajectory for yourself. When you get into it, it can be amazing. All right, guys, with that said, I gotta go get back in this truck, drive on down the road. You guys let me know if you have questions down below. We try to get to them. We're very late a lot of times. My cell phone number is down below too. It's a backup cell. I only answer all those messages about once per week, but I will. Feel free to text me on that phone. Again, Barbara Brown's information is down below. My referral code's down below if any of our videos are helpful for you and you would like to use a referral code when applying to come to Prime. Please feel free to do so. We greatly appreciate it. You guys be safe out there. Make good decisions, and as always, drive to thrive. Talk to you soon.